Don't let it rule you.
All right, everybody, I am Andrew Badalla. That is Juice Springsteen. That is Jordan Carter. We are live for AEW World's End tonight. Chicago, Illinois is the spot. 9,000 tickets have been distributed. I'm assuming they'll get to 95 to 10,000 for a pay-per-view during the holiday weekend, which is a good turnout. AEW never misses on pay-per-view, and I will tell you why tonight. I believe AEW has a real chance to make a statement as all eyes will be on All Elite Wrestling. I know there's 2 football games. One will be completed. The other one's the backups to the backups in terms of quarterbacks with real no playoff implication for the Packers. But I will not bore you with football because I know you're here for wrestling, even though I love football. But tonight, AEW presents World's End from Chicago, Illinois at the Now Arena in Schaumburg, Illinois, just kind of in the outskirts of Chicago. It's not Chicago. It's basically like when they say they're in New York and they're on Long Island, they're New York City. But anyways, I digress. The card's loaded. I'm here with my 2 good friends. We are going to break it all down. Take your questions, your comments, your concerns. I hope all of you had a wonderful Christmas. On to the new year coming. Jordan, new spot, new location. Man. You are on vacation. Thank you for joining us. How the hell are you?
I'm doing great, man. I've had a different Christmas, but it was a good one. I can't complain. All things are merry, so yeah. How was your guys' Christmas?
Busy. 3 kids, house full of people. I feel like Christmas vacation, it still hasn't ended. We're gonna have people over tonight to watch the games and the pay-per-view, and maybe we'll play some cards. You never know. Juice, my good man.
Spades guy?
Am I what?
Are you a spades guy?
I am.
All right.
Yeah. Juice, your Christmas. How are you, my man?
It's pretty good, pretty busy. It's the busiest time of year for me in my work life that's not pro wrestling related. And easy for you to say that there's no playoffs involved in the game tonight, considering when the Packers win, the Steelers will lock up the AFC North without even having to play and win tomorrow. So, look, I know you're a Jets fan, and I know the playoffs are a long, long ways away. That doesn't mean that everybody has to be terrible.
I mean, listen, the Packers are starting, I believe.
Yeah,
let me check.
It's Malik Willis versus Tyler Huntley. It, by all means, will be a terrible game, but there are playoff implications for your boy. That the team that couldn't do what Aaron Rodgers wanted them to do, and now look, he's on an actual good professional organization, and they're about to make a run in the playoffs.
First of all, you know this. Jordan knows this. I am a Aaron Rodgers believer. Always have been. Aaron has a lot of talent.
It's a Jets dig. That's all.
Yeah,
because their organization's terrible.
I will tell you that Aaron's probably one and done in the playoffs, but as long as Aaron gets in, you really never know what you're getting from him, truthfully. So we'll see. I see a lot of orders. What's my White Castle? What's my Red Lobster? You want to know something crazy, Dev? I have been to Red Lobster once for 5 minutes. I got biscuits and a cocktail, and I left. I've never had Red Lobster.
I have a funny story about Red Lobster. Why I'll never go there again. I was 9 or 10 years old. Whole family, we all went out there, and it was like probably this time of year. So family coming in, it's holidays. And they're bringing around the drinks, and the waitress spills the tray of drinks all over me. And I had nothing else to put on. My mom had a giant T-shirt that I put on for the rest of the evening. Safe to say, I never voluntarily went back to Red Lobster, so you will not be seeing an order from me.
Yeah, I've only been, like I said, everything else was closed. We were looking for something to eat and have a cocktail before we went out. Rolled into Red Lobster. I was told to try the biscuits. I tried the biscuits, and that was it. We left.
I'm allergic to shellfish, so keep it simple there. I will not eat that.
Yeah. What's my White Castle order?
It's obviously it's a burger. There's nothing fancy to White Castle.
You could throw cheese and bacon on the Sons of Guns if you want, but I could eat like 15 of those things.
As you should.
Yeah, I do like White Castle though. Like if I'm not actively seeking it out, but every once in a while I'm like, let me get some of those murder burgers.
This kind of aligns with a good question, to kind of start the show off. So for pay-per-view, What's your pay-per-view setup? How do you like to set up for a nice pay-per-view?
So this is gonna get bougie here, but I do a full bar. I invite my buddies over. I get a giant bucket. I fill it with beers and I put ice on top of it. Beers have to be on ice. I don't want beer if it's not on ice. Okay. I make my own wings. I do my own pizzas, and then I will do whatever somebody requests. So when people come back, they're like, "Hey, could you make those Italian subs that you made the last time?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure, no problem." Sometimes it's, "Hey man, can you make the shishito peppers when you blistered them? Can you do that?" I love to cook and I love to entertain. So for me, it's all about making something. And then when people come back, they're like, "Hey, is this going to be served tonight?" Yes, I'll make it for you. That's kind of weird. But wings are always a staple, Jordan. If I don't have wings,
you gotta have wings.
Got to. You were with me. I told Blake at Allin, Texas, I said, before we head into the building, I want some ranch waters, which is tequila, lime, and club, Topo Chico.
How much of those cost at the stadium?
I think they were like, we went to that big, what was it?
No, I know. I'm talking about when we got into the stadium and I bought 2 ranch waters for you guys, and it was north of $70. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
why are y'all buying drinks at the stadium?
How are we going to keep the buzz going? It was a 6-hour show, Jordan.
Yeah.
Well, you and I know how to keep the buzz going, but that's a different story.
Not in the stadium.
But anyway, yeah. Wings are always a staple. If I don't have wings, I got to have a nice glass of tequila, and beer has got to be ice cold. If you want to drink wine, there's plenty of wine. I always set up a bar. I love to entertain. So it's all about like the right people, the right atmosphere. And that's why there's 4 TVs on the wall downstairs. Some people come over, they're like, "Hey, is the football game going to be on?" Yeah, the football game will be on. You know, the AEW is getting the audio tonight. So, you guys have.
I was just about to say, which one gets the audio?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bougie Vedel, that's what I call him.
Yeah.
For myself, I'm a pizza guy. Pizza is a nice staple for me. I'm a big meat lovers guy or cheese. But when I'm a big crust guy. The crust, I'm particular on it. I'm a New York style or thin crust, or St. Louis style thin crust.
Oh, that's like bar pizza, right? Is that like the really thin crust?
Yeah. That cracker like. I'm real big on that. And then I would also say, obviously, wings. And then I'm a whiskey neat kind of guy. Do
you like hot wings, or are you eating like mild? Or are you eating like teriyaki? What do we got?
Am I 5-6 years ago? Yeah, I'm hot wings all the way. Atomic, the hottest of the hot.
Yeah.
Look, I got a few grays now. Give me the nice and mild, and give me the nice and mild, and I'll keep it a nice night.
There you go, Juice. If you're having people over, or you're just watching the pay-per-view with your lady, what are you having? What are you eating?
Well, if I'm watching it with my girlfriend, that means I'm watching it with myself. She will not be watching pro wrestling, unfortunately. But pizza's always good. Wings. Gotta have some beer. Gotta have some beer in there. I feel like that's always a night. Again, with these AEW shows, they go so long. You have to be prepared. And they just they added a couple more matches in the last couple of days. Well, at least one more to the pre-show, and then they added Gabe, Kid, and Darby to the main show. So, standard 5 hours ahead of us tonight.
Yeah, I have a funny feeling Darby was supposed to be in the spot that Moxley's in tonight, but we'll get into all that. I don't think Moxley was supposed to be in the semifinals of this Continental Classic, but we'll get into all that. Again, I believe tonight AEW has a chance tonight. I really do. And it's not with Copeland and Christian coming back, because everyone already expects that. They have a chance. They need to do something tonight that will really, they don't need to send shockwaves, but they have a chance to really capture all of the impressions, all of the views, everything that they would want, because the NFL games at 7:30 is an absolute freaking dud. And the 4:30 game has playoff implications, 2 good teams. And I know, Juice, the Ravens and Packers has playoff implications.
Yeah.
But who the hell wants to watch these 2 backups? All right. It's going to, like nobody wants that game.
Multiple TVs. So plenty of people will. But AEW can take advantage of it, considering the first game, which has way more playoff implications, will be done well in advance of
AEW. And there's no WWE even remotely close. The only thing that they have live is January 5th.
There's a house show in Pittsburgh tonight, and I am not going to be there because I will be watching AEW World's End.
I mean, come on. So again, I think tonight AEW has a real opportunity to capture a lot of eyeballs, get people talking and buzzing. So tonight, Tony, if you're watching and listening, I think tonight you need to make an impression that will last, because every other pay-per-view and event that you guys have had more recently, there's been a shit ton of competition or someone else breathing down your neck. You have a free week where you can really own the landscape, in my opinion. No UFC
either.
No.
So with that said, surprises, debuts, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think Copeland, let's get this out of the way. What do we think that is going to happen tonight? I think Copeland and Christian are absolutely showing up tonight in that street fight, whether it's during or after, whatever. But I think we're going to get that. And I think FTR and Copeland and Christian will have their match at Revolution in Los Angeles. Just seems like the right time, the right place. I would have liked to have seen Copeland and Christian back earlier than that. But, they're going to get a 3-month build, it seems, with that match, which is plenty of time.
Do you think, what are they going to do in between then to satiate what people want? They want the match, and yet March is going to...
That's an SAT word for all you young boys and girls watching.
Yeah, so I just feel like they can build it great, but what I'm saying is, don't you think people...
All right.
Let's just see the match. So
well, hold on.
How would you do it?
Juice and Jordan, do you think we get some sort of match between these two on a Dynamite to sell a Dynamite before we get to Revolution? Maybe Revolution is a gimmick match?
Maybe.
100%. I think that's what there's so much time in between, right? Where we got all of January, all of February, right? So if the idea is to defend that in March, then I would imagine at least 2 matches, something to where they're probably trading, typical wrestling tropes, guys. If it's not broke, don't fix it. FTR gets one, CNC get one. We finish it at Revolution. I think that's what would happen.
Non-title, would they be eliminator matches then, if that's the case? Because unless it's like a special episode of Dynamite, I don't see them having a one-off tag.
Well, that's what I think. I think we're going to be getting special episodes of Dynamite to fulfill the lack there pay-per-view kind of void that will be coming in January and February.
Are you chugging apple juice?
The good kind too.
Glass bottle, baby. They don't make them like this anymore. Well, they do. That's why I have it.
All right.
That's what I think.
I think Copeland and Christian and FTR should have a match before Revolution. And if they're going to have like a ladder match or some sort of gimmick match at Revolution, great. But I would really, really like to see Copeland and Christian return tonight. I think we need it in terms of the tag team division. I just want to see FTR and Copeland and Christian have their match. I want to see the triangle ladder match or triangle TLC match between the Bucks, Copeland and Christian and FTR, if we ever get that. But let's kick off the show with this. Let's talk about the tag team title match, FTR versus the Guns in a Chicago, whatever they're calling themselves now, in a Chicago street fight. Again, very interesting. Chicago street fight lends itself to a possible run-in, possible this, possible that. What do we think, boys? Jordan, I'll start with you, and then I'll go to Juice.
Personally, I'm not gonna lie to you. I hate the term street fight. I just want to go out there, a little mini rant. Let's just say hardcore match. Let's just say no holds barred. There's no difference between either. Whenever we say street fight, that just means people are pulling up in jeans. So that's cool. But other than that, I do think this match obviously lends itself to either some sort of interference or after match festivities, which I think is the perfect reason to why it will open the show, because you want people to tune into this pay-per-view. You need people to tune into this pay-per-view. Let's start off with the bang.
So do you think we're done? The bang, no pun intended. The Bang Bang Gang. Are we done with the whole pre-show leads into?
They better be. They better be.
We tried it twice. Are we done with it?
Once is fun. Twice is cool.
Yeah.
3 times is annoying. Fair enough.
I want that same energy if it happens again, Jordan. I want you saying how much you hate
I will. Will I like it? Of course. It's a great thing. It's a great.
You're allowed to not like it.
the idea of, like, for example, right? The idea of a BOGO buy one get one is never really a buy one get one. So it's a sales tactic, and this is a sales / marketing tactic. It's getting so whatever works is whatever works. I'm always so as a consumer, I'm going to bite for said sales tactic. That's why I'm a consumer to this product. But at the same time, I don't need it. I don't think that you have to keep, you don't need a fire sale. JCPenney's isn't running an all year fire sale. We don't need to keep doing it. You see what I'm saying?
I thought the whole, like, different marketing tactics, obviously, but I think the whole, like, oh, if you have an HBO Max subscription, you get the pay-per-view at a discount. No, you don't. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Great marketing, but no, you don't. And it's also like, another example of marketing, which a lot of people fall for nowadays, is I saw this whole raffle thing that they were doing at this big liquor store by my house, right? Big, huge wine, liquor, everything. Put your name in a thing, whatever. They raffle off. They had like literally 40 bottles of whiskey, rare whiskey. Okay. And they're like, yeah, we're going to pull 40 winners. They didn't pull 40 winners. Do I look stupid? A week later, they're like, oh, 25 of the 40 winners never claimed their bottle. So come by and we're going to discount them. First come, first serve. It's brilliant. Brilliant marketing. Because people are like, oh, I got to get there. Like I could get, and it's like, it's just
exclusive. I got it.
Yeah, they're creating the want. I entered that raffle. Wait, 25 idiots didn't pick up their bottle? And it's like, no, idiot. They never drew 40 people. But anyways, I digress. I agree with you.
But no, I see where you're going there, because then it's like, oh man, they ran into the pay-per-view again. Oh man, they can't. No, this is by design. Obviously, like I said, first time is fun. Second time is cool. Third time, it's clearly a tactic, and that's why I don't think we should do it. But no, to the tag match. No, I think like I said, it lends itself to we'll it's going to be fun, but I definitely think it should open the show. 100%.
Well, it's got to live up to the best Chicago street fight in history, in my opinion, which is the LOD and Ahmed Johnson versus the Nation of Domination. That was the best Chicago street fight ever.
What year was that?
97 at WrestleMania. They brought out a kitchen sink. Okay. All right. They brought out a kitchen sink.
Well, so you said them coming back. Just really quick before we get to Juice, honestly, do they come back for you during or after? Because that matters.
Assuming they do.
I think FTR gets.
Assuming
I think FTR gets the win, and it's like some like dastardly way, and then Copeland and Christian show up, and FTR might run down the tag division on the mic, and then Copeland and Christian show up, or you know what? I mean, you really want to, the Bang Bang game isn't going to make people be like, holy shit, what a moment. But you want to turn people on their heads. Having FTR lose the titles because of Copeland and Christian would be something.
Then they can work their way back into getting a title opportunity down the line.
So you see how I think that's a nice way to possibly have a series of matches and not necessarily have the tag division on ice because then we could have a situation where the top contenders are then FTR, CNC, and the Bucks.
Yeah.
So that three corners now turns into four corners, and we have a super fun tag.
I'm going to go with FTR. Jordan, are you going with FTR tonight? Juice, what do you got tonight and why?
So, first of all, I love that Juice gets an opportunity at the tag titles tonight. Shout out to Juice Robinson. I vehemently disagree with Jordan where Chicago Street Fight is just a name. There's a reason it's Chicago Street Fight other than it's in Chicago. There's been great ones in the past. It's a little way to give more juice to the match. Otherwise, it is just a hardcore match. Your WrestleMania 13s, your Uncensored 96, all out with Kris Statlander versus Willow. There was
Moxley and what's his face? John Hubner, right?
Yes, Huber. Yes, it was Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper back then. But yeah, they've done Chicago street fights throughout history, and I like that they add that little wrinkle to it because you got to do something when you're in Chicago, and when you're there as many times as AEW has been, you want to make sure you play the hits. And I think this is perfect, especially with a team like FTR who is the old school tag team, and they can do it one of any amount of ways. So I'm looking forward to maybe having them in jeans and having an old school look. You say, Drew, that it could be a dastardly way of winning. Well, in a street fight, I don't know how dastardly it could get. You know, the whole damn thing could be brutal. But I'm looking forward to it, and I'm interested to see if CNC even return here. There's TV. There's so many different options outside of the pay-per-view that they could return at. But when you don't have another pay-per-view until March, you want to set this one off with a bang gang. And you want to have Cope and Cage come back.
That's what I'm talking about, Juice. I think tonight AEW has a real opportunity to set a tone, and because you want to, like you said, there is a 3-month layoff for them in terms of pay-per-view, which is fine. At times you need that layoff. We need an escape, and you really don't want to compete with the machine that is the WWE during Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, and then WrestleMania time. It's just not a good idea because that's when WWE is at their peak. So I think the 3-month off from AEW is smart. It's been that way since its inception. I dig it. I really do. And we'll have to wait and see what happens tonight, truthfully. But I believe we're on our way to a CNC and FTR match. If we can get the Bucks involved somehow, I'm here for it. Let's talk about Darby and Gabe. I'll just be frank. I don't think this match was ever slated for this card. I think Darby was supposed to be in the Continental Classic semifinal. He was supposed to be where Moxley is. It was supposed to be Moxley and Fletcher and Darby. I'm going to go with Darby here. AEW seems to keep Darby strong. Gabe Kidd is a favorite of mine in terms of what I think he could bring to All Elite Wrestling if he were to sign full-time. I'm a big Gabe Kidd fan. Got the looks, got the what you would want in a professional wrestler. So I'm a big Gabe Kidd fan, but I'm going to go with Darby tonight. Juice?
Yeah, I got Darby. I think you're probably spot on because they didn't anticipate what happened to have Darby out of the C2 for how long he did, and you have to replace him. You can't just sit around. So now that he can, he's in, he can have this match, he can be on the card, he can get a win. Gabe Kidd doesn't, he gets the exposure by being on the show. He's not necessarily involved in anything. The fact that he's, pseudo Death Riders gives a little bit more credence to a story too for Darby as we want to push that. And we'll talk about it later on with the main event. But no matter what happens with the main event, the people that aren't the world champion at the end of the night are going to be fascinating to what they do going forward, along with a guy like Darby Allin. When you have March as the next pay-per-view, where these guys go that are in the, quote, main event scene that aren't either challenging or are champion, what will happen with them, especially your Swerve and Hangman? Will they end up being a tag team? Like, there's so many different options you can go through whoever doesn't win the championship. So I think Darby could be in that main event slot, depending on who's champion. If Joe retains, I think I could see Darby and Joe having a match. I could see Darby and MJF. So I think Darby getting a win is imperative.
I think it's a good point, Juice, with tonight being what happens, because it seems like Will's on his way back, he being Will Ospreay, and you have Swerve back. So tonight is really going to set the tone for where AEW is in March as well, because I don't think they're going to put a championship on somebody or take the championship off of somebody just to have them drop it before we get to Revolution. I just don't see it. So which we'll get to in the main event tonight, could Joe retain? Sure. Is that the logical choice? Probably, but you want to send shockwaves, you want to have people buzzing. We'll have to wait and see. We'll talk about that later on. Jordan, Darby Allin, Gabe Kidd. I like Gabe, but I just don't think they stop the momentum that Darby has. Darby's momentum has been halted only by himself and what he's done. So I think AEW keeps pushing that button.
So here's the thing. We obviously we kind of know why he was out of the C2. Clearly, okay, that's fine. So 1, 2, we know how long AEW pay-per-views are. So then 3, why have this match at all? Like, I get it. You want to keep Darby hot? We can do that. You can do this on a Dynamite. It'll
actually don't hate this, Jordan. This was going to be part of my hot take. I don't hate this because I think that this match is just another reason to get Darby on a pay-per-view card, and I think they could have easily main evented this on a Dynamite, and I would have loved to have seen it.
And that's my point. Like, why not just have it on a? Because I guess same thing, different. I don't know, because again, I like. I was about to say I do like the GOAT. For me, I like the match. Sure, Darby's going to get the win, but considering we don't really need this on the card. Like this could have been a Dynamite. This could have been a Collision.
Well, if it wasn't going to be on the card, what would you have put on it, or would you have just not had a match at all?
Oh, Juice, I mean, we don't need 15 matches, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that breaking news? I completely understand that. I was just wondering what you guys would have done had you not had this.
Oh, no.
I'm
2026.
Rather have 8 matches
needs
instead of 10.
to be a focus on let's make these a nice 3.5, and let's go.
I don't know. All in at Wembley is going to be another 6.
Well, outside of big shows, sure, but pay-per-views, I think need to be an event, not an all. Like, I like wrestling, I love wrestling, but just me personally,
you got the wrong company for this, brother.
One of the best.
Yeah, you're either a sicko or you're not. You got to be all in or you're all out.
I mean, pun intended, right? But like,
I'm with you, Jordan.
We don't need.
There's a healthy medium.
Healthy medium. That's it. So this match, don't need it. But
yeah, and WWE did this. I mean, WWE, Juice, I've been to shows with you when WWE had these many matches and stuff like that. And then they transitioned into 2 nights and it was still too much. Like this past WrestleMania, I went to both nights because I was very blessed and grateful that WWE took care of me for 2 nights. If I'm going to these shows, I mean, now we're trying to pick and choose what night we go to. And with AEW, you just know you're in for a 4 to 5 hour night, which is okay. But if you could cut this to 3.5 hours, I think a lot of people would be thankful for it. And I understand, we deliver the best pay-per-views. We're really the only entity that's doing pay-per-views. I get it. But you want to know what people value a lot more? I don't think people give a shit about throwing $30 to $40 at a pay-per-view. They value their time. Yeah.
Although it's Saturday night and the end of the year, so this is maybe the worst time to bring up that argument. But
sure, no doubt about it.
No doubt taken. Where I think even the casual fans that might just be getting into AEW might go, man, this is still going. Like, look, we all love wrestling, but at a point there can be an exhaustion of wrestling, and some things can be cut. You can have a 4-hour pay-per-view, and I don't think anybody would blink an eye. It's when it's 4.5, it's 5, it's bleeding into the next day when we start having some problems.
Yeah, and when we have people over for the WWE PLEs as well, and it's like 9:15 my time, 9:25, and they're off the air, and my buddies look at me and they're like, "You want to go to the bar? What do you want to do?" I'm like, "Nah, let's just call it." And they're like, "All right, cool," and they take themselves home, or we just hang out at the house, and it's not like, yo, it's 11:30, bro. You mind if I crash here? And I'm like, nah, go ahead. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah, I get it.
It gets long. It gets long, dude. It gets long. So I'm with you guys. But to Juice's point, holiday season, probably not the best time to have this argument, but we've been talking about this for a very long time. Let's talk about the Babes of Wrath, Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale taking on Mercedes Moné and Athena for the AEW Women's Tag Team Championships. If we took a bunch of championships off of Moné to put them back, Jordan will be back. I just got told by our producer. If we got the championships off of Moné, right? The singles titles. Hello, Jordan. And now all of a sudden we are going to put the tag team titles on her. I think it's a mistake. And I like Mercedes. And I really, I dig this whole thing with her and Athena. But I will say this. Harley Cameron and Willow just won these sons of bitches. And if you're going to take them off them, I think that moment was all for nothing, truthfully, on Dynamite. But I might be in the minority here.
I think a lot of people realize that, though, Drew. I think a lot of people get that, we talk about tropes and stuff when that's, primarily with the WWE where they do, maybe there is a transitional champion every now and again. AEW really has a chance to kind of buck some of those trends. And maybe a random new like Brodito. They weren't really supposed to be anything, and all of a sudden they won the titles. They got hot, and they kept the titles on them for a little longer than I would have anticipated. And I think with this particular match with the women, I think you have to have more of a dissension of Mercedes Moné going into madness of losing matches, losing little titles here and there. She lost to Windsor, and I just don't think she should win another one as she's losing the rest.
So that is the point. So look who she's teaming with. Someone who they're friendly, but not the most friendly, who's had banger matches. There's one very important title that Moné has yet to drop, as she's on this losing streak, mind you. She's on if we're keeping it, real, a buck here. She's on a losing streak when it comes to title matches. So I think this is all to set up for the Athena Mercedes feud for the TBS title.
I would love to see that, Jordan, and I would love to see that match happen at the Staples Center, whatever they're calling it now, the Crypto.com Arena. And I'd like for Mercedes to drop that championship to Athena, which it seems like a lot of the fans have wanted for years now. And it seems like Tony, he's going to have an interview with John Alba here coming up soon on Sports Illustrated. It seems like Tony's starting to listen to the fans more often.
Well, I think that's the right thing to do. Like, for one, Athena needs to, quote unquote, graduate to Dynamite. Like, stop hiding this. You got this Ferrari. Why are you don't keep it in the garage, brother. Start putting some miles on that thing. Athena's a great talent. And then great for the industry if you just know what she does outside of the business with her. I think she kind of runs a women's promotion locally in Texas, I want to say. So, I think this is all which we've had some seeds planted, previously, and I don't know if they're going to. But I think they lose, and I think this is to set up Athena Mercedes for the TBS title.
Wouldn't hate it. Again, I think Mercedes dropping the TBS championship would kind of get to that whole real downfall, the real crumbling, only to build her back up at Wembley Stadium, maybe, where she wins the big one, the AEW Women's World Heavyweight Championship. So we'll have to wait and see on that one as well. Juice, are we in disagreement here? Should they take the championships off of the Babes of Wrath? I say no.
No. That's what I started with. Is just I think Babes of Wrath can help buck the trend of, well, we won the titles just for a good moment and we're going to lose them immediately. They're going to have a little Brodito run. I think they'll hold them for a lot longer than we even give them credit for. And I don't think they can lose the titles to someone, but I don't think it should be to Mercedes and Athena. Hell, the Sisters of Sin are on the pre-show. They could get a win there, and they can build up to have that as an opportunity down the line. There are plenty of women to have as a tag team in a shot for a title that aren't Mercedes and Athena, and I think that's a good problem to have.
I do find something interesting, I just don't care about this match, and it's a shame because I really do care about the performers in this match. I think there's a lot. Claudio. I like Yuta. I even like Marina Shafir. I'm obviously a big time Tony Storm fan. And I really have started to dig what Mark Briscoe has done on a singles run over the past 6 to 8 months. And I just think this Mixed Nuts Mayhem match, although a funny name, I don't care about it at all.
Have you seen anything what I've posted about what I suggested it should be?
No.
So you know how at Texas Roadhouse, at least how they used to, you could eat the peanuts and throw all the shells on the floor?
Never been there, but go ahead.
Okay, well, if you're not a domesticated American like I am, but you could do that back in the day, and everybody would just throw the peanuts on the floor, and it was just littered. Like it was the atmosphere. And I don't think they do that now.
You can't.
Well, either way,
after COVID, they said
there's COVID probably killed that. But either way, I thought, how funny would it be if that were the replacement for a thumbtack in this match, and it was just like peanuts or cashews on the mat. Instead of having,
it's a good little spot. That'll get some impressions. I don't hate it.
As opposed to, like what you said, this is kind of, I'm adding to your point, Jordan, when you said, why do they call it a Chicago street fight? It's just call it what it is, a hardcore match. Mixed Nuts Mayhem, I don't know what the hell that means. So either put some actual, legumes in there or, find another name for it.
Chicks, I don't know what type of women some people have been with, but most women don't have nuts, okay? No women have nuts. They shouldn't. But I don't understand.
Marina Shafir's she's a tough nut to crack. So
she's pretty ballsy. She's pretty ballsy.
Same with Timeless Tony Storm. They'll probably be the toughest nuts to crack in this match if you're keeping it a buck.
I'm talking about testicles. I'm not talking about.
Here's the thing.
And we're adults.
One of those weird, where we need to start finding healthy mediums, right? Because if these people aren't on the card, damned if you don't. Now
Sure.
you put him on the card, damned if you do. Because
Sure. And you're right, Jordan,
but-
because a lot of people would be like, where's Tony Storm? Why is she not on this bill?
But logistically, right now, they don't really need to be on the
Agreed.
card. And that's where one of those where WWE when they run a 4 or 5 match card.
Sure.
I could see I like I said, 2026, I wouldn't be mad at AEW. Now, don't charge me $50. But some of my point is, and you'll see when we go through some of these, it's like, hey, this doesn't need to be behind the paywall.
Sure.
This doesn't need to be behind the paywall. And this match, as fun as it will be, doesn't need to be behind the paywall.
But I mean, you go back into your point, right? You go look at Crown Jewel, I believe, was the pay-per-view before Survivor Series. And I don't think that Gunther was on the card. And I know he was out with an injury or whatever, but I mean, there's many times where like the World Heavyweight Champion, or even I think there was a point in time where Cody, when he was the undisputed champion, wasn't on the card. And it's okay. If it doesn't deem it necessary, don't just put people on the card just for the sake of putting people on the card.
Again, and I think it would be cool because then you can call it a special, whatever.
Sure.
Charge me $30. I'll still buy. I mean, I'm gonna buy regardless. But like, charge me like $30. It's a 7-match spectacular.
Well, I mean, if you're an HBO Max subscriber, it's $40 plus your $10 subscription per month.
Yeah. But yeah. So I mean, hey, and then also I'm an ad-free guy myself. So
Me too. I don't like the ads. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why I pay for it? But either way, I think, like I said, this match, as fun as it will be to watch and cool, again, Tony Storm and Marina, they have a very unique chemistry, those two, especially when it comes to an intergender aspect of it all. But I don't need to
I don't see the point of this match. Like, I get why they told the story. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, again, this is a collision match at best.
Oh, this could be dynamite. This could be a dynamite.
Dynamite.
Well, like you guys said, you could easily cut this in the Darby match, and you're probably set with a solid 3.5, 335.
And it's 9 matches.
And we're having a great time.
And I do want to mention, someone put it in the comments, it's not even that there's 10 matches. It's that every match is like 25 minutes long. When's the last time there was like a 5-minute match?
Couldn't tell you.
I don't know if AEW's ever had like, not even a squash match, but just like a quick, fast-paced, like 6-7
hold on.
match.
Let's do this real quick.
Here we go.
I mean, we're not counting pre-show because Darby and
No. Don't ever count. I'm not counting that. I'm talking main show.
16 minutes. Love Bomb, 13, 20, 20, 22, 25, 19, 23, and 16. And I mean, don't get me wrong. These matches are bangers at times. There's no doubt about it. But we're sitting there and you're like, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Let's go back to Wrestle Dream. 15, 21, 13, 24, 16, 16, 27, 19, 25. I mean, long matches. Now I will, put the shoe on the other foot here just because we have to. Let's do some WWE PLE. They are short. I understand it.
Their main events can be pretty damn long for sure.
Sure. But let's take a look. Let's just go to Survivor Series, which is going to be a bad example because of War Games. But
the women's match, I don't think was that long.
41, 16, 12, and 40. So like I said, bad example. Let's go to the pay-per-view before this, or PLE before. And it was Crown Jewel.
Okay.
Crown Jewel was 21, 10, 27, 19, and 29. So if you want to go long, go long. We don't need 9 long matches.
But that's the thing. WWE has, 10 to 20 minute matches, but there's 5 matches. That's a good, solid amount of time there. You get 9, 10, 11 matches, and it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30. Takeshita and Okada is going to go at least the time limit.
If I'm paying money for it, you better go a certain amount of time.
Jordan,
I'm going to be honest with you.
If we order a boxing fight or a UFC fight, somebody gets knocked out in the first minute, you asking for a refund?
No, because that's also real.
Whoa. Number one.
You know what?
Number 2.
Well, I'm just saying, like
you could have an entertaining 5-minute match, Jordan. If somebody gets knocked out in boxing in 2 minutes, I'm like, shit, I got my money's worth.
Sure, I did, but I also, when I go to a movie, which is more in line with something that's on this.
Bro, most movies are shorter than some of this shit.
But you also know you could see the exact length of the movie before you go in. You have an idea, at least from 8 to 11, probably at least 8 to 12 with an AEW show. Like
back in my day, when we looked up movies on the newspaper, we didn't know how long a movie was. And
I thought they had them back in the newspaper. I think they pretty much did. They had them in minutes, though. So you had to divide it up. And how many hours is that?
When they released the VHSs, if you were over 3 hours, you got the double tape.
The Titanic had that.
It
was a crazy long special on TV. So that
all I'm saying is I don't mind a 10-minute, 12-minute good match when I'm paying $54.11.
Sure, but there's none of those on these cards. They're at least 15 minutes a piece. There's never a shorter match.
I don't want to do anything longer than like 30, 40 minutes.
Well, when's the last time that's happened for you, Drew? Never?
I have to ask my wife.
So righty, fella.
I tell people I had sex twice and had 3 kids. So there you go. Twice my whole life. So there you
go. Pretty good.
I'm batting really nice. Again,
it's Hall of Fame territory.
Those are Hall of Fame numbers. We've talked about this. Pay-per-view length, AEW doesn't seem to be any way, shape, or form wanting to change it. The fans, most of your sickos don't hate it. It is what it is. Listen, when Stranger Things puts out 3 episodes and they're all an hour and 15 minutes long each, I mean, it seems like they know what they're doing. They know what fans want. And to Jordan's point, if I'm paying $50, it seems like Tony wants to make sure that everyone gets their money's worth. So here we are. Let's talk about Kris Statlander and Jamie Hayter for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. I like me some Jamie Hayter. I really do. But Stat has stacked victories, and I think it's well-deserved. And I don't think Statlander's dropping this championship anytime soon. So I'm going to go with Stat here. And if Stat rolls into Revolution as the AEW Women's World Champion and it's not against Moné in a rematch, I'm sticking with Stat as well.
I agree. Go ahead, Jordan. I see you have a lot to say. I'm going with Kris.
Well, not really. I was just going to say, because planning it out, the smart thing to do is to, have Kris keep stacking her wins. Stat Daddy, she's great. I think then the obvious conclusion is Megan Bayne at Revolution.
Too early for some Megan Bayne? I like Megan Bayne, but is it too early?
Well, because the only way, if the big idea is for Moné to get the title. If 2026 is the chase, she also needs to be a babyface. For her to be a babyface on the chase, there needs to be a heel on top of the division. Therefore, and they've been planting this seed for Megan Bayne for a very long time. A once good friend of mine told me to be patient on Megan Bayne, and I think if we keep being patient, I think Revolution is her time. So for that to, I know I'm going long, but Kris Statlander, her reign has to keep going.
Yeah, I don't think there's much more to say on this one, at least for me. I think Statlander is going to win this one. Jamie Hayter, get her on the card. I think this is more than fine.
Yeah, this is a great moment to get her on the card. I think Jamie Hayter, after this, settles back into the tag division, though.
I agree. Here's what everyone is going to be looking forward to, in my opinion, which is the Continental Classic semifinals, because they're 2 really, really good matches, and I believe they're each going to go at least 20. I think the show opens with one of them. If it's me, I open with Fletcher and Moxley, because I think Okada and Takeshita is going to be great. Their matches have been great against each other, but I think this is going to be another classic. And I think you open Fletcher and Moxley because I believe the obvious choice to represent that league is Fletcher. So have Fletcher kind of waiting in the wings on the winner of Okada and Takeshita. We'll have to wait and see. But let's talk about Fletcher and Mox. I'm going with Fletcher. Again, I think this is supposed to be Darby's spot. Again, I think Tony Khan has a chance to have a moment or 2 or 3 tonight. And I think the finals of this Continental Classic is going to be one of those moments, especially for the AEW fans and for wrestling fans. Because, again, there is no real competition tonight for AEW. So seize the moment. Jordan, we'll go to you and then Juice.
I think either with Mox losing, which he should, we give this to Fletch, this is where they make the Death Riders cannibalize him, make him a made man, or they turn face. Crazy enough, I don't know. But I think it's very obvious that Fletcher's coming out with the win.
Yeah, I think Fletcher, he's got a destiny to fulfill here. I don't necessarily think he'll win. I don't think he's going to win the Continental Classic, but I think he gets to the final. And, it sets up, like I mentioned earlier with Darby, you want to make more main event players. You don't have to have them win the title to be in that spot. And I think Kyle Fletcher even getting to the finals of this thing could set him up for main event status going into 2026. Whether he ends up winning a major title or not, that remains to be seen. But as he already won the TNT title, I could see him at least challenging, if not being in contention for some of the other major men's titles in the singles realm in 2026. So I have Fletcher. I agree with Jordan too. I think this is an easy way, regardless of how Moxley got there. He's there. He was the only Death Riders guy to make it to the Final Four. He has that over them, and I'm sure that pisses off Pac and Claudio and those guys to be like, well, you still lost. And they can start style and kick his ass out of there.
Let's talk about this real quick, Jordan. Hold on one second. SRS is predicting that Okada and Takeshita goes to time limit draw and we get a triple threat final. I don't like that at all.
I could see that, and I could see where they don't want to. Because you look at it logistically, that's a way you can get both Takeshita and Okada into the final, and you don't have to have either of those guys take the pin to lose that match. So you can have Fletcher eat the pin. That doesn't make him look weak, and you don't have Okada or Takeshita potentially losing in the finals of a tournament when they're both great tournament wrestlers.
Didn't Okada and Takeshita already have a match against each other in this tournament? Who won?
No, they didn't.
They never fought.
Not in the tournament. No. They're on opposite sides. It's the number one of the Gold League versus the number two of the other league. So no.
Yeah.
It's blue one versus gold two, right?
Yeah, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing: if they were to go to a triple threat final, exciting match, yes. Predictable match, also very much yes. And I think that's where the mistake would be, because I'm sorry, fellas, this is wrestling. Somebody got to lose. Somebody got to look up at the lights, and let's just keep it a buck. Like, sorry, Okada, you're great, but time to start looking up, brother.
The telling thing to me, though, Jordan, was I believe Takeshita had the most points out of everybody. I could be wrong, but I think Takeshita had the most points out of everybody in the entire thing. And I think Fletcher, Mox, and Okada were all tied. And I think they were I want to say they were 5 to 4 points behind Takeshita. So I think Takeshita's got that kind of rub now, but I'm with you. If you really want to cement Takeshita,
he's got the New Japan. There's no possible way you have a partnership.
You don't think that they keep the championship and the best tournament wrestler alive on Okada tonight? There's no way.
Oh God, no. I mean, well, you guys said I was crazy for this match to happen again at Wrestle Kingdom, and I was. But I think to satisfy us, yes. Do we get two versions of this match? Sure, but I don't know. I think someone just has to lose and let Okada be. Yeah, no, it's fine because it's the ultimate passing of the torch.
Okada's won 4 G1s. He won the C2 last year. Takeshita's the new guy. He won the G1 this year. He's the current IWGP champion. How do you make the next great tournament wrestler? By beating the greatest tournament wrestler.
In a tournament that you're building to be America's version of the G1.
And don't you think it would cause? I mean, I know it's all wrestling, it's a work, but don't you think, and even in kayfabe, it would cause a little bit more confusion if you had why they would book it. If Okada would have beat Takeshita, it's well, maybe Okada should have an IWGP title match. Would New Japan want the world champion losing like that?
But how? Okay, but Okada is on his way to go retire Tanahashi.
So he doesn't need to win. Because it's just a retirement match with no stakes. It's a retirement match.
But that same feeling where people, and I know you felt some particular way, Juice, and I think this is why it's going to be a good discussion. But the same way people felt about Gunther when he tapped to Jey Uso on his way to retiring John Cena, people hated that. People would hate this.
Yeah, but wait, gotta put it in perspective, Jordan. We had no idea that Gunther was going to wrestle John Cena in December when he tapped out in April. We had no idea that was going to happen. No, it was never known. This is a definitive.
It wasn't, but that was a pretty damn good guess.
That's an incredible guess. But next week we know Okada is taking him on in the retirement match, so there's no need.
My career.
I predicted Jey Uso to win the Royal Rumble.
You did. I'll give you credit where credit due.
You did. So there's no need. You're saying there's no need to keep him strong, seeing that we know he's going to do it.
I think a lot of people might be upset tonight. I think I
wouldn't hate a triple threat, to be honest with you, because like I said, I think it keeps both guys. You could have Fletcher take the pin, and then what we're talking about is irrelevant.
Hold on. Let's just see how this one plays out.
Sure.
So I think Fletcher and Moxley are going to open the pay-per-view, the actual pay-per-view with this match, which is fine. Fletcher wins. And then we have Okada and Takeshita later on in the night. I could see how this could work. We get a double count out or a time limit draw. Fletcher comes down, ring the bell.
Out there,
Right, ring the bell. Okay. But I think there's a possibility that if this happens, and if it does, I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. I like Sean, does great work. He's a friend. But I would have assumed that somebody kind of tipped him off to this. Okay. He has very deep connections in AEW. So what I will say with that is that if this is what is going to happen, fine. But I think this is a perfect way for Okada to win because he could pin Fletcher and nothing happens to Fletcher, nothing happens to Takeshita, in my opinion. Now,
if it was a triple threat, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. That's what I said. If it's a triple threat, then no matter who, as long as Fletcher takes the L, it doesn't matter who, if Takeshita or Okada. What we're saying is irrelevant.
A little crazy to y'all.
And by the way, you saying that about Sean kind of is reverse of what this show is called. No dirt, just dialogue. So
no, I'm just saying. It seems like Sean put it out there. It's not like Sean phoned me and was like, "Hey man, there's a triple threat."
But you put out some predictions. You're like, "Oh, I have a feeling this is going to happen."
Throw some out there.
You have people in the biz too, Drew. Come on.
I'm gonna throw some out there because it's something that we've kind of seen recently. I've been paying attention, but I think there's a certain Don Callis family member that may make his re-debut.
Who's that?
Andrade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where does he fit in?
He is assurance for Don. Whoever Don, like whether that be Kyle Fletcher. Or he would be assurance for, I would probably say, to Okada, because Takeshita is probably going to be the breakout babyface that we all.
He already is, yeah.
Yeah, but I think though, I don't know, just because we've been seeing him and it looks like that no compete is kind of cool. Don't seem.
I don't know what the hell's going on with Andrade.
They say
show up on this show next week, and I wouldn't be shocked with it.
They say Roosh had a great lawyer, so I think crazy. He's canonically he's in the Don Callis family. I think he would be,
But I think there's
you trust them to keep that continuity. Like, hey, he's Don Callis family.
I think there's a unique opportunity tonight, though. I really do. Like, I wouldn't be mad. Here's how this plays out in my house if this happens. I don't mind either Fletcher or Takeshita being made tonight by winning this tournament. I would be happy with that. But I think the opportunity AEW has in front of them and what Tony Khan should consider is the scrutiny that they have come under with this whole tournament and the championship being a ticking time bomb and people not really understanding what the ultimate prize is. If Okada wins this tonight, the following year, next year's Continental Classic can be for something else. They can retire that championship. The unified title can go away and they could just say the winner of the C2 will receive a world championship opportunity at AEW Revolution. That is the way that I think that Tony can kind of cut the legs out from under everybody who's saying, well, the C2 is kind of pointless in terms of the ultimate prize. Because it's a great tournament. It's fun. It's exciting. I don't watch the G2. So this was very nice for them to bring this over here. G1, whatever the fuck it is. And I'm happy that they brought this over here. And that I'm happy that they made this, appealing to the American fans. But tonight, I think they have a unique opportunity, and it's either twofold. I think you know what this is? Honestly, they can't lose unless Moxley wins this thing. Then I'm out.
By the way, Drew, that's a great point, but you also have to look at it from Tony Khan's perspective. He doesn't see a problem with how the titles are being done in the quote confusion. He sees it as a good vehicle, and he's going to do it the way he sees fit. So unless that changes, I think you're going to see potentially. I was looking at the Wikipedia for it, and it was like, well, specifically in the Okada Takeshita match, in that match, if Takeshita wins, it's like the one title is going to be the Continental Champion is going to be crowned anew. The Unified Championship is vacated, and it's all very confusing. But I'm telling you, I don't think Tony sees it that way, and I think he sees it as an opportunity to make Takeshita or Fletcher tonight.
I think Tony tried to make it a point through his announce team and even through his media.
Oh my God.
What will happen if somebody loses and all this other stuff, and if this person, then this title's gone and this is gone. And it just seemed to me like now I think he's read because he sees everything. Tony sees everything. And that's not like I'm being funny. He sees everything. And I think Tony's looking at this and saying, all right, go ahead, Jordan. What do you got?
Oh, no, I'm just saying hi to Tony.
Yeah, I think he's going to take the opportunity to possibly cut the legs out from all the naysayers. And this cements Okada. Okada hasn't had an AEW World Heavyweight Championship run. He's won the Continental Classic. He won the Unified title. Great. But he hasn't really, you're talking about a man who came over with a lot of hype and can deliver in matches and been paid a lot of money. Why isn't he's not even remotely in the World Heavyweight Championship title picture? Why is that?
He's got business to take care of next weekend at Wrestle Kingdom, and then maybe you can thrust him into a world title picture. But I don't think he needs to do it now. I think they're patient. And again, Drew, you saying the people that being like, oh, there's confusion with all these things. Tony doesn't see it that way. He's not going to course correct when he doesn't think the course is ruined.
He would have an implosion of riches. He would be too close to Midas, being King Midas. And if you know about anything about mythology and whatnot, everything you touch being gold is great. But it also, because here's the thing, if you put Takeshita into this title scene and we crown him, yes, that visual of holding both titles is fantastic. It's great. But we also have Will Ospreay we need to crown.
Yeah, in 8 months.
Why not have an embarrassment of riches though, Jordan? Like Omega.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jordan. Mercedes only has one title. I forgot she's Mercedes one belt.
Well, no, I just think if you do too much so fast, I think you're embarrassment. Like sometimes you need to.
What you're talking about Takeshita though, right?
Yes, I'm talking because
what's too fast? What's too fast about that?
I think because right now. Because we have Swerve, who's swerving around. We have Hangman, who's also around. Ospreay is coming back. We have Kenny Omega, who needs explanation for why he's not in.
He's gonna stick with trios matches, I think, for the foreseeable future
with the Bucks.
If that's the case, cool.
Yeah.
If that's the case, cool. But then we're starting to get into and there's this guy MJF. He needs fodder. People that we're coming to a point to where it's like, hey, and then he can't There's just we have to be very.
Jordan could have an embarrassment of riches. Look at the main event scene: Okada, Omega. You could have the world champion Samoa Joe, who's in it right now. You have Swerve. You have Hangman. You could have MJF. I don't understand what we're doing with some of these guys.
I think you got to be careful. I think you just have to be precise.
What you're doing with some of these guys, that's why you have a lot more of these championships, like a Continental one that these guys can hold until they are ready for that.
I enjoyed Swerve and Hangman as a tag team, and then all of a sudden it's like, we're not doing that anymore.
Well,
it's
if everything happens as we'll talk about, maybe they'll continue that tag team after tonight.
I was going to say maybe they continue because I'm sorry, that whole we're walking out and
Drew's fed up. Drew's
we're going to choke up MJF real quick and hey, I'm gonna talk this game while the white homie is up on top. Yeah, come on, that was. I love that. I mean, so I would love to see them continue as a tag team, and I'm going to be honest with you. I think we do. I think,
All right.
spoiler alert for later in the show, but no, I think we just need to be careful when it comes to Takeshi Okada. So I think ultimately, like I said, let Okada lose. Let's not make this a triple threat. Let's streamline this, and
All right. Who's winning the Continental Classic tonight? Juice.
Konosuke Takeshita.
Jordan.
Konosuke Takeshita by interference.
Kazuchika Okada is my pick.
Oh, so Mox will win it.
I think Okada cost Takeshita his match.
Ooh, okay.
That
Again,
I can see.
There's some stories. Again, AEW has a unique opportunity tonight to really capture a lot of the wrestling buzz and a lot of the impressions, and they can keep that talk going through Monday, past the weekend, into Monday, into Tuesday, and we'll see what happens. I think there's a moment that they should capitalize on, and we'll have to find out what that moment is. I don't think an Andrade return, no offense, love me some Andrade, is going to do that. I think the match we're going to talk about next has a lot to do with what they could do, and that is the Fatal 4-Way match, the AEW World Championship, Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, Hangman Page, and MJF. I told you who I think is going to win this one. I think it's MJF. But I'm very interested to see how this entire match plays out, because there's two different stories here to be told, realistically.
Someone made a good point. You cannot interfere in the C2 under those rules, so I don't think that.
But that's the whole point of being a heel group.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll allow it to happen.
I just watched the NWO interfere any and every time when you're not supposed to. I've just watched heels.
Well, those are normal rules. These are strict tournament rules.
But to Jordan's point, I think we're putting a lot of emphasis on pro wrestling following the rules.
Yeah,
okay, all right. I'm just saying, I think
there's going to be ways to interfere, but not necessarily you can cause a distraction by proxy and other things.
Distraction's one thing, but actually getting in the match is another. I can see that. Yeah.
Where's my X-Acto knife? So I can
semantics. That's right. Hey, I'm here for that, baby.
All right, let's talk about the main event, the presumed main event. The AEW World Heavyweight Championship, I say MJF. I do want to see what happens between Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page. I also want to know where this leaves Joe and what he does going forward. There's a lot in this. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but I don't think MJF showed up for nothing and put himself into this match for nothing. It's very interesting, too, because there's been a lot of rumor and speculation that MJF's going to, quote-unquote, re-debut a faction and kind of turn the tables on what happened with him 2 years ago at World's End, where Adam Cole was revealed as the devil. Samoa Joe walked out as world champion. I was in the building. So we'll have to wait and see. It's a moment, definitely, but I don't know who. I know David Finlay is becoming a free agent in February, so I don't think he's going to be a part of it. That's somebody I would run to go sign. I would sign Finlay in a minute. I think he's got a lot of talent. But what say you, Jordan? What do we got? I mean, World Championship tonight. MJF cast in the Casino Gauntlet from Allin. Who do you got winning and why? And what do you want to see here?
I want to see I want to see some good wrestling off top, because these are four guys that can produce that. One. Two, I obviously think MJF is going to come out the winner. Now, via faction, I'm not sure. Now, I do think somehow, some way, Swerve or Hangman should take the pin, giving them more leeway to create a tag team afterwards, going maybe after the ops, finding a third, maybe losing. I don't know, because we had to find a way to get those trios titles off. But I think MJF does smartly win. Now, like I said, I don't know how that faction, comes to be, because there's been zero, kind of hints, plans. He kind of just came in, which I wanted, came in, dropped them, hey, call his shot, walk out, here we are. I don't know. I don't know how a faction comes about if it happens, but I still got MJF coming out with the win. He has to.
All right. I'll take the on here. I can't necessarily disagree with you guys in the point of it seems very obvious that MJF would walk in, call a shot, walk out as champion, but it's very difficult for me to believe, especially because we've used the same logic for other matches in this whole card, that I can't see Samoa Joe, who just won the title, losing the title so quickly. And I think MJF can do a lot of things, whether it's, have a new faction or what have you. He could do all those things without winning this match tonight. So I could easily see Joe winning, having the ops as his, background, and maybe MJF wants to challenge him at some other point with whatever faction he comes up with.
That whole contract thing for the third time becomes stupid. And
Money in the Bank, people started losing that too. You can't just have the same result. You can't be predictable every time.
Not the first two times. But to Juice's point,
this is what they want to do.
Hold on. I'm going to agree with you. Don't get hot. I think Samoa Joe winning the championship in November, just a little bit over a month ago, and now he's going to drop it a month later, kind of sucks. That's just my opinion, okay? And that's one man's opinion. But as soon as they put MJF in this match, I thought to myself, we're screwed. That's what's going to happen. MJF's going to win. And it's all about how they do it. This is professional wrestling and sports entertainment. You got to show me something that makes me be like, okay, I don't hate that. Let me tune in on Wednesday and going forward, and let's add to this and different plots and twists and everything else like that. Because at Full Gear, when Hook aligned himself back with Joe, I wasn't mad at it. It was a shock that Joe won the world championship to majority of the people sitting there. The addition of Hook was a shock, so I didn't hate it. It's all about how you do this and how you write it. If Joe is going to lose the championship tonight, show me why. Give me valid reasons, make it believable, suspend my disbelief, and I'm okay with it. But I truly feel as if we are a mere couple hours away. I don't see a world we live in right now where MJF doesn't walk out with that world championship.
Well, that's why the world's going to end tonight on pay-per-view. But yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, I can agree with you. It's just also the fact that, we always talk about this. Regardless of who walks out as champion, I'm almost more interested in who's not walking out champion, because what are they going to have for those guys? Let's say Joe retains. Could MJF have a new stable? Would Hangman and Swerve actually become a tag team and do something? If MJF becomes champion, does Joe remain with the ops, or does he find some other person to fight? Like, there's so many different avenues, and the whole thing we've been talking about this whole show is they got another damn pay-per-view 3 months away. That's a lot of TV to build these other guys up.
And
main event scene.
And if we get where Hangman and Swerve are acting as a unit, right, and all things hunky-dory, and then all of a sudden MJF kind of slithers in and wins, I'm okay with that. As long as Hangman and Swerve tell the story afterwards where they're like, hey, man, I know we didn't get the world championship, but I will tell you this right now, we're a damn good unit. And I wouldn't mind it, because let's just say MJF wins the championship, okay? He's going to go to Revolution. We all know that Will Ospreay is waiting in the wings. So what are you going to do? You're going to have a program with MJF and Swerve for 3 months, and where Swerve isn't going to win?
So you're talking MJF. So hold on, you talking Swerve, Ospreay, Hangman as a unit, possibly?
I would like to see Hanger and Swerve as a unit, and maybe go after those tag team championships. Maybe when the Bucks or CNC are holding them after the FTR stuff. I would really like to see these two. If you want to tell a story tonight, the story in the main event, to Juice's point, how are we getting there? Just like I said too, what is the outcome? If you get Hanger and Swerve together and they're dominating, there's no stopping these two, and then MJF, being the heel that he is, slithers his way in, hits somebody, whatever, briefcase, ring, I don't care, whatever, chair, and covers Joe and wins the championship, and the outcome of this is MJF is your world champion, and we have Hanger and Swerve as a unit, finally, a cohesive unit, yeah, I'd be here for it. Because I think there's just a log jam.
I have a question for both of you. Let's just go a little crazy. Let's assume that right. Well, you'd look like that anyway. Let's assume that Will Ospreay, and the goal is for him to at least challenge for the world title at Wembley next year. Let's say that's the case. Would you, either guy, you can answer however you want in whatever order. Will any of the 4 guys in the main event tonight be that champion to defend all the way down the line, to where that you can track whatever story they're going to tell with Will to this match? Like, will any of those 4 guys be the guy that eventually passes it off to Will Ospreay, or do you see someone else that we're not talking about?
The only person that I could would be Swerve, because Swerve and Ospreay have a little bit of history.
Okay.
But no. I think the only person outside of MJ, well, and then obviously MJF, because I think you can make something connect with MJF and Ospreay and stretch it out. So yeah, I think you could.
Again, where does this leave Joe? Where does this leave the ops?
I think Joe.
What's the deal with Joe and Hook? Like,
what's your answer to that, Drew? Are any of the 4 guys tonight going to be the guy that could potentially pass off to? Okay,
it's MJF. I think it's the biggest match you could have right now at Wembley Stadium, just given what AEW has right now.
Sure.
Is MJF Will Ospreay at Wembley Stadium?
MJF defending. You don't think you want Ospreay to be crowned at Wembley. You don't want him walking in as champion.
Oh no, I don't think you pass up the opportunity. First of all, Will this is a serious injury, which Will. I mean, he worked through, but it was time to get the surgery, and I'm glad that he did. And I kind of hinted at this privately to Jordan that, like, I don't think Will is going to be long for the AEW picture. And you could tell when he comes on the air and he says, I got 6 to 7 weeks to get healed. I was like, there's no way. But anyways, I just think the big money match there is Will, and I think you make that moment happen.
Okay, so that's what I would tend to look at is, if you think MJF is that moment, if MJF were to not win the title tonight, you got to put it on him at some point, and that's what I come into play with. If MJF doesn't win tonight, but he debuts a new faction or has a heater or something, maybe that's how you start the transition, and maybe by Revolution, then you get that title switch, and then MJF can run that all the way to what?
Juice, I am here for Samoa Joe walking out of this pay-per-view with the title.
I'd love to see it.
And if you want to crown MJF at Revolution, crown him.
In Hollywood, where he's a big Hollywood star now.
Yeah, that's fine for me. That is totally fine. I think it'll be interesting the way that this plays out, which, again, I think AEW has a unique opportunity. They really do. Tonight is a night for them to own the night and own the night past tonight. You can own the week if it's done right.
Well, it'll be, if it's done by then, it'll be all the way through Sunday.
Yeah, and it's done the right way. It's not my way, but what will be the right way to last the impressions, the talking points, the moments. You have a unique opportunity tonight. WWE has been off for 10 days now.
All taped material. This is Monday Night War stuff. You got the night to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to know what
you got to do.
Take advantage of it. Take full advantage of it. I know you're not going to be able to pull CM Punk, or you're not going to be able to pull Ricky Steamboat, or like somebody huge to like have an impact.
Take some risks though. Take some risks. Do something maybe you're not as comfortable with that'll get the people talking, because that's all people want is momentum. And the AEW has all the eyes on them tonight, but as soon as we turn into 2026, no pay-per-view until March. You got the Rumble, you got WrestleMania coming through. It's going to be a tough spring to get off on the right foot. So you want to end the year, I think, on a positive note if you're AEW. And I think that they can. They're pretty damn solid record on pay-per-view.
I think Tony and AEW are counting on themselves to continue to be themselves and take this how you want it. They're also counting on WWE to be themselves. So
right, because they see the pitfalls that sometimes WWE makes, and they figure, hey, if we stick our course, we know what WWE will end up doing. It's going to be Roman Cody again at WrestleMania.
I think it was very interesting, though, the way that they signed off a Saturday night's main event, which was their last big event, with Michael Cole stating, professional wrestling beats sports entertainment. I thought to myself, oof, that's a definite shot. A definite shot.
Yeah. They're making their... I'll put it to you like this: if we're talking bigger picture, and I'm not trying to get into this kind of tribalistic type of conversation, but WWE is obviously gearing up to almost kill the first quarter of 2026. If you look and see what they're doing kind of behind the scenes, and if you're paying attention, if you're watching the money, they're gearing up to kind of kill the first quarter of 20.
And you're 100% right. Royal Rumble in Saudi, Elimination Chamber in Chicago, Mania back in Vegas. WWE is going to own January through April. That's why I said tonight's very important, in my opinion.
So, therefore, I think AEW is looking to, I don't want to say hedge their bets, but hey, we're just going to continue to be ourselves and gear up for what I think Revolution will be one. It's going to be one of the bigger shows of 2026. It's going to kick off their year. Yeah. So that being said, I think tonight's show has to just you have a lot to set up and say, and you have the stage to do it. So go ahead and let's do it. Let's have a really good show. I hope they do. I think they will, but I think they're gearing up. Obviously, I don't think they're worried about, like to Juice's point. I don't kind of to Juice's point. I don't think they're worried about January, February, March, not having pay-per-views. I think they're going to be okay.
Well, yeah, that's on purpose. They know that they got a pay-per-view in March and March alone. Like they're not rushing to throw a pay-per-view together for middle of January and February. And like Drew said, not only do they have a Royal Rumble, but they've got Saturday night's main event the week before that. So even then, they're going to be taking up a lot of these special slots. And outside of those slots, it's going to be tough to do solid TV on Saturdays anyway, considering you got the NFL playoffs. So there's a lot going on in the first couple months of 2026. That's why this show tonight is so damn important. You want to make sure you're solidified to get through the tough times of the beginning of the new year when there's a lot of competition outside of even pro wrestling to go up against. And you want to make sure that you have intriguing storylines, entertaining pro wrestling, and an overall quality show that your fans and maybe some other casual fans will want to tune into when there's plenty of options outside of pro wrestling even.
There you go. We'll take some quick questions if you guys got them, and then we will end the show. Again, unique opportunity, in my opinion, for AEW to kind of own the night, own the weekend, truthfully. The NFL, obviously, it is tomorrow. A lot there. Stranger Things kind of wrapped besides what we're going to see on New Year's Eve. There's not a lot of talking points that are going to be topical through tonight. So for me, I think there's an interesting opportunity here tonight for AEW. I think they could really own the night if they do it right. And that's not my right. It's just what is going to really translate and make AEW stand out tonight. So we'll see. Question is, any update on Dirty Dom? I don't. I can tell you one thing, that I believe that the Saudi Arabian Royal Rumble, is going to be nuts. Is going to be absolutely nuts. And I think that WWE is going to do everything they possibly can to appease Saudi, its fans, because they paid over $100 million for this event, and they paid a lot for WrestleMania. And I think that that's going to be nuts. So that's something I can say.
I was going to say, do either you guys, you brought up Andrade, do we see potentially Jay White tonight?
That's a good one. I never thought about that. Maybe.
Okay.
70% chance. But then that also implies that he helps the Gun Club win. Or maybe
he helps them lose. Maybe he turns on them. Oh, you got to think of all the options, Jordan.
There are. But still, I would say 70%. Because last I kind of maybe want to say I heard that his recovery was, I don't want to say not going well. I also don't want to speak for anybody's health, but I think it wasn't like accelerated or anything like that. Like his recovery, was taking its time, so to speak. So I don't know when he's exactly back.
All right, Juice, why don't you let everybody know where they can like, subscribe, follow you, your Juicebox content everywhere else. Then we'll go to Jordan, and then we'll wrap.
At Juicy Steen on Twitter, you could argue with me about pro wrestling. We'll have we got the World's End predictions in the Juicebox this week. It's a quick, digestible 25-minute episode. Tune into that. I mean, I gave a lot of my predictions and answers to what will happen on tonight's show in here as well. So, if you saw this, you don't even necessarily have to listen to that. Might be doing some predictions for 2026 in the episode next week, which I normally don't do, but I feel like a lot of people like to hear stuff like that, so I might be considering it. Jordan, Wrestle Collective closed out with a bang with the award show. I was happily featured on that. What do you guys got cooking for 2026 as we move into the new year?
So, for moving into the new year, as I'm getting, because I'm out here in the backyard, it's getting a little cold. 2026 is looking to be very, very big for the collective. Very happy. Please tune in to the YouTube channel. We've got a lot of big stuff. January 5th is going to be a big day. January 3rd as well, I believe. Yes, January 3rd and January 5th are two big major dates for the Wrestle Collective YouTube channel. So please definitely check that out. But as far as the Wrestle Collective podcast, we are on vacation. We will be back officially January 8th. January 8th is going to be our first show back of the year. Again, a lot of big things for the collective in 2026.
So you can't you can't divulge anything about the 3rd and the 5th?
So for the 3rd, we have we're doing our first partnership with another Simply Reliable Studios, another group that we've kind of partnered with, and we're doing a watch along with them on the 3rd, and then January 5th, we're having Wrestling with Tism, which is another podcast. We're having that officially debut on January 5th. Very, very excited about
Look
that.
at you guys expanding all the way.
Yeah.
I mean,
how
long have you guys been running? A few months? You guys are making waves?
Honestly, we've only been running for about a year. We started this. We came together.
Maybe I was only aware of you for half a year. Yeah. When I ran into you guys.
We started this kind of in February, just a group of us.
You're about to hit 1 year
been
then.
Some ups, some downs, but yeah, we're getting close on 1 year. So very happy, very proud to be a part of the collective. Man, there's a great group of guys. I love those guys. They're really fun to work with. Again, Wrestling with Tism is a great show. It's kind of tackling what it's like to be a fan on the spectrum. Things like that. So It's very fun, very wacky. Just it's really, really cool, really fun. So I'm happy about the expansion. Yes, I'm proud of those guys, proud of the team, proud to be a part of it. Honestly, I'm blessed to be even a part of what we're doing right now. So yes, definitely check out January 3rd, January 5th. Check out the Wrestle Collective YouTube channel.
There you go. Check out the Wrestle Collective. Make sure you check out the Juice Box with Juice Springsteen. I am at Andrew Radalla. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and follow button for Final Bell Media so that when we go live, you will know. This is No Dirt, Just Dialogue. I look forward to tonight. I will check back in with my co-host. Maybe we'll do a post show depending on the time, and that will be audio only on Spaces. I can promise you that.
Those are fun, though. I like those. Those can get
I do.
depending on what happens after the show.
I'm open to it, so yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, again, I'm at Andrew Radalla. That is Juice Springsteen. That is Jordan Carter. We are No Dirt, Just Dialogue. We hope to catch you guys and girls maybe tonight. If not, we'll catch you after the new year. Safe, happy holidays. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, your loved ones, and have a great and fun and productive and safe New Year's.